Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 25 next gen online game. Today we got the Bills and the Vikings, but this game is just something that you can watch while you listen to my thoughts on the Championship Sunday. We had the two title games, NFC and AFC, and one of those games was a classic. The other one was it'll be forgettable in a few years, but it was another chapter in a classic rivalry. And that's the one we'll start off with because that was the game that was played first, and also the one that has lots to talk about. So we'll knock it out the way first, as you see early on. I am the Vikings here in case you couldn't tell, and not too much stuff happens in this game. I'll explain some stuff that does happen though, but anyways, we'll explain things that happen in the AFC Championship game as AP is running the ball. Peyton Manning was Peyton Manning, downright did what Peyton Manning has been doing all season. Just pure efficiency. Too many weapons for the Patriots to handle. And once Aqib Talib went down, it was basically it for the Patriots. Same thing happened last year when they played Baltimore. Talib goes down, can't cover Torrey Smith or Anquan Bolden, whichever one he needed to, and game over for the Patriot defense. Same thing happened this year. Talib goes down, they just can't handle it. And the thing was Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie also went down, but he was able to come back. And I tweeted, I'm like, that's probably going to be a major difference in this game, if not the difference. And it definitely ended up being part of the difference of the game. I mean, if Talib is in, do the Broncos still move the ball efficiently? I think so, because Julius Thomas was a huge mismatch in the middle of the field. It seemed like the Patriots didn't have much of an answer for him during the game. Sure, Demaryius Thomas will be locked up, but I don't know how much Denner could handle Decker and stuff like that. Maybe Welker gets more touches, but Demaryius Thomas being open definitely did help Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning does, he doesn't pick and choose his weapons, but Demaryius Thomas is the #1 receiver in Denver. He is the best receiver there. And, he definitely played like that on Sunday once Talib went down. And for the Patriots offense, they just didn't have much. And that's their whole season. They didn't have much to work with. It was just a patchwork group and stuff like that. Your best receiver is Julian Edelman. He can only do so much for you. Julian Edelman is not a true #1 receiver. You need someone else to complement him. If Julian Edelman's your #2 receiver, you've probably got a good shot. Even if Gronkowski's the #1 guy and he's a tight end, still, that's pretty good for your team. But you got Julian Edelman in there. Amendola was a no-show, basically, which makes the Wes Welker saga look really bad on the Patriots. The fact that Amendola was a no-show. Humana Wanamui, he's not really much of a receiving threat at the tight end position at all. He's more of a blocker. Pretty good blocker, but just not a receiver that the Patriots would need. He's like a takeaway weapon right there. And then the running game itself, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, LeGarrette Blount's probably going to go off again. Well, I mean, if you check the stats, Indianapolis and Buffalo, the two teams the Patriots faced beforehand, had two of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Buffalo's had a bad run defense for years. And Indy, their defense has been in shambles for a little bit, too. In the Andrew Luck era, their defense has been too great, especially the run defense, and it showed up there against LeGarrette Blount. But with the Broncos, they had one of the better run defense. You got Terrence Knighton. He's been playing really good all season. Just, a bunch of guys in the middle. Sean Phillips has been having a great season. Some people wrote him off. They're like, oh yeah, San Diego didn't want him for a reason. He just went to go chase the ring now that he's older. And he definitely played well this season, especially with Von Miller being out for a while, Doomerville not being able to come back. And that's the thing, Denver had some, people are like complaining about the Patriots had they have excuses and stuff like that. Well, Denver lost Doomerville in the offseason to some stupid tax fiasco. They lost Von Miller. They lost Chris Harris. They lost a number of guys. So, I mean, Denver was beat up as well. So, I mean, you can't play the excuse game. Denver won because they were better. And that's all that game was. Denver was better. Nothing Tom Brady could do. He did what he could do. He tried to do his usual comeback thing in the fourth quarter. Just wasn't enough time. And they missed a 2-point conversion late on the Vereen thing, which is a great play by Sean Phillips. Because he was heading for Brady, and he was able to adjust himself to run after Vereen. That was all Sean Phillips in that play. As well as, the guys contained in the middle, but Sean Phillips making the tackle behind the line to stop it. That was big. And by the way, on that fourth down earlier that I didn't get, as we get the touchdown here with Cordell Patterson, I was going to throw the FL screen to Adrian Peterson, but I forgot to audible him to the swing route that would allow him to catch the FL screen. So I'm hitting RB or whatever, the RB or LB, whatever the running back button is. I'm like, why is nothing happening? And then I'm like, shit, I forgot to do it. And now he takes a kick return for a touchdown here with Goodwin as soon as we take the lead. He ties it back up. So this game was definitely not one of my best. I made a lot of really dumb errors that were just like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like sitting there like, what the hell am I doing? It just wasn't a smart game or anything like that. So laugh at it as we go on. So now that we got the Broncos and Patriots game out the way for the most part. Oh yeah, the Wes Welker thing. That's another thing. Bill Belichick made a big deal out of it this morning. How Welker was one of the worst plays he's ever seen. Get over it. Just get it. He's only mad because Talib got hurt. If Talib doesn't get hurt, that play is not mentioned, alright? That's just cause and effect, you know? Patriots run those same kind of plays. Most teams run those kind of rough plays. And it just happened to knock out Talib. And that's why Belichick is steamed off. He knows that the team needed Talib. Talib was probably easily the most important player on defense for them. Maybe, you know, besides Brady, the second most important player on the team. So, you know, that's why Belichick is pissed off. More pissed off than he should be. Kind of overreacted in the press conference. And I was taking a lot of deep shots for Cordell Patterson, which wasn't really working out because there was some tight coverage on him. He had the receiver beat, or the defender beat, but then the defender will be able to swat the ball out. And Cordell Patterson doesn't exactly have a 99 catch in traffic or anything like that. So maybe I should have taken more shots with Greg Jennings. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter too much because we get in the end zone here with AP. We tied the game, or actually we take the lead right before halftime. And yeah, now we move on to the really exciting game, the Seahawks and Niners. A game that, you know, might have bored some people with the amount of defense that was played. Some people don't like to watch that. I absolutely love watching it. I love watching guys like Bowman and Sherman. And, you know, there was just big names all over the place. And it was a fun game to watch. Sherman had his side locked up the entire game. Bowman was making tons of tackles. Patrick Willis was playing a good game. Ahmad Brooks had some great plays during the game. And just big-time playmakers all over the place. And for the Seahawks, early on, Russell Wilson was not one of those big-time playmakers. He fumbled on the first play of the game. Did a really stupid behind-the-back-like thing with the ball. They ended up getting it knocked out. Aldon Smith there made a great play to start off. But the Niners couldn't capitalize early. And it was 3 points. And if they had 7 points early on, you know, who knows what the score could have been after, you know, they had the 7 points instead of the 3. Instead, Seattle gets to stay in the game. They make their miraculous plays eventually. Russell Wilson makes that one downfield throw to Doug Baldwin. And that's what it was for Seattle. All their big plays were basically like some miracle stuff. And by the way, this was just like 2 flukes in one. I hit B accidentally, which came out in the fake punt. So I'm like, all right, let me call my timeout here. I don't want to run it. Then I hit B again by accident. I'm out on the freaking fake punt again. I'm like, you know, I can't burn another timeout. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to. So you know what? Screw it. I'm going to run it. I'm probably not going to get it, but I'll just have faith in my defense that we can get a stop rather than me burning up another timeout here. And on my takeoff, I almost get it, but I obviously don't get it. I mean, it's a fake punt from 4th and 15. Not what I wanted to do. Just something I accidentally did twice. I'm like, wow. You know, I'm not really playing this stupid. And this is the thing. I've been playing stupidly all game. I've had multiple opportunities to put this game away. Instead, he's got a chance to tie it after all these plays. But we come up with the pick there with Xavier Rhodes. So, yeah, I mean, Seattle, they get the kick return for a bunch of yards after Colin Kaepernick makes that one-legged touchdown pass to Anquan Bolden. You got, once again, Doug Baldwin making the play on the broken play when Russell Wilson was running around. Baldwin gets free. 3rd down and 1. Marshawn Lynch breaks off the huge run for a touchdown. Great play by Marshawn there. Two cutbacks. One on the initial line of scrimmage, avoiding the, I think it was Willis who had the play locked up. And then avoiding Eric Reed, who had a good angle at the ball. And Marshawn just, you know, cut back and stumbled his way into the end zone. And that's one thing about Marshawn Lynch. He has such good balance, man. Even when he was stumbling, and then when he does fall down, he always comes right back up. He always pops back up. He doesn't fall back down like clumsily or anything. He's got great balance, which helps him with his beast mode runs. And then, of course, the 4th down and 7 Hail Mary like throw into the end zone for Jermaine Kearse. And somehow that ends up being a touchdown. And this ends up being an interception here in the 3rd quarter. He's trying to take his shot, trying to get back into this game. But we end up getting a key interception there. Good job by our defense. And then we start handing the ball for Adrian Peterson. But yeah, I mean, that was all Seattle was doing. San Francisco played a great game defensively, but that was just killing them. Those kind of big plays that kept Seattle in the game. And San Francisco, when you felt like Colin Kaepernick was doing all he could on offense, running the ball, but he was the only one running the ball. That was the problem. Frank Gore, I mean, you can't even blame any of the Seattle running backs. There was no room to run that football. Every single time you see someone trying to run the ball, whether it's Kendall Hunter or Frank Gore, you see Adrian Peterson gone for the game. As usual, I play with the Vikings. Peterson injured out for the game. Like, seriously, man. How am I supposed to play with the Vikings and have fun when Adrian Peterson gets injured every time? Like, Madden, how you gonna do me like that? And it's still a 14-point game. He's still in this game despite all of his bad play. And by the way, this guy was doing the stiff arm glitch, if you couldn't tell. The Alfred Moore's God Mode stiff arm glitch, if you guys remember that video. This guy was doing the same exact thing, except we had to contain a little bit more. And plus, since he went down early in the game, he wasn't able to run the ball as much as I think he wanted to. But, Yeah, I forgot the point I was making. Back to, oh yeah, Colin Kaepernick. They just couldn't run the ball. Frank Gore was always stuffed. Kendall Hunter was always stuffed. So that's just a testament to Seattle's defense. Red Bryant and Cliff Averill and all those guys in the front line. And McDaniels. They really had that front stuffed up. And then, when you force Kaepernick to win the game in the fourth quarter, well, what do you know? The real Colin Kaepernick passing-wise comes out. Bad read, fumbling the ball on the run, trying to make a spectacular play. And that's Colin Kaepernick right now. He's not exactly Peyton Manning. And neither is Russell Wilson. But Colin Kaepernick just made the mistakes in the fourth quarter through 2 key interceptions. But, I mean, despite all of that, Seattle never really capitalized on all Colin Kaepernick's mistakes because, and even the referee mistakes. Well, not really referee mistakes, just, when Bowman had, like, that ugly injury. When he pretty much intercepted the ball, but they ruled it a fumble. Well, Marshawn Lynch coming out with the ball, somehow with the ball in the pile. Then you got, all that happening. Then San Francisco makes a stop. The poetic justice stop on 4th down and goal there. Which I don't know why Seattle didn't take the points there. You know, you got one of the greatest defenses in recent memory. But you try to go for it there and go for the kill shot. You have faith in your defense in that situation. I absolutely hated that call. Before they even went for it, I was just like, they better be taking the points here, and they didn't. And, you know, that was just dumb. And, of course, the whole ruling on the field, you can't really blame the officials on that. That's just more of a rule book error. I mean, for the officials, they're just calling it, the game's going at mock speed for them, and they're just, oh, that's probably a fumble. And they gotta wait until everything happens at the bottom of the file. They don't exactly get to see the slow motion replays live that we get to see a minute after. So I'm not gonna put much of that on the officials, even though there was some things that the officials messed up, like the roughing the punter penalty that was called like, it was like not roughing the penalty, just running into the kicker instead of roughing the punter. It should have been called roughing the punter because they hit Andy Lee pretty hard there. I think on his playing leg. But despite all that, we're just gonna not talk about the referees much. Back to the game itself. So San Francisco gets the stops and all that. Eventually, Seattle gets the ball back. They kick a field goal with Hauschka. And now Colin Kaepernick gets a chance to win the game. Season on the line, you give Colin Kaepernick the ball. He moves the ball pretty well downfield. And I tweeted right before he threw the interception, like, I think Kaepernick can do it. He was making smart reads, and then he went to Sherman. He doesn't go to Richard Sherman all game long, except for one play that was a pass interference that wasn't really a pass interference on Sherman. But besides that, Richard Sherman, you don't test the dude all day long. But with 22 seconds left in the game, where your season's on the line, you test the best cornerback in the NFL. You're like Michael Crabtree, who's not exactly Calvin Johnson or AJ Green or anything like that. You decide you're throwing enough for Crabtree. And Sherman does what Sherman's done all season. He makes the play. But Malcolm Smith there, he makes the extra play to actually get the interception. And that's the underrated part, because this dude came from his linebacker spot. I don't know how. Sniffed out the end zone fade and was there to get the tip. So, you know, you got to tip your hat to that guy for being there to get that interception. Or else San Francisco's drive is still alive. All it was a tip by Richard Sherman. He didn't in one hand snag the interception. That was Malcolm Smith there, who was there to make that play. So, that play goes 2 ways. 2 players made that play. So, after the game, of course, you know, I mean, you ask me, I don't think Seattle won that game. I would say more San Francisco lost that game than anything else, because Seattle didn't really do much in the fourth quarter, especially offensively, to say, we want to win this game. We're going to win this game, besides a Hail Mary thrown to the end zone to Jermaine Kearse. But, yeah, I just think San Francisco just didn't get to make the plays in the fourth. Obviously, Upati was injured. Bowman was down. Bowman down didn't really matter too much because Seattle didn't really do much offensively anyways. But still, Upati's down. That might have affected the run game. But then after the game, Sherman just goes off. And, I mean, Sherman eventually apologized for it. Not too long ago, he apologized. He said that he took away from the attention of the team and their great play by singling out Crabtree. But my thing is, you put a mic in front of somebody who just made a play the way Sherman did, in the situation that Sherman was in, the NFC Championship game. You just made the play to send your team to the Super Bowl. You know, he will say something like he might regret later on. That's just passion. That's just, you know, putting the mic in front of somebody, you know, in that situation. Something like that might happen. You get him 20 minutes later, maybe he doesn't exactly scream in Aaron Andrews' face. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thing. I think that was just an in-the-moment-like thing for Sherman. I mean, Sherman is that kind of guy. He was still talking that junk after the game, the Crabtree and stuff like that. He was still saying Crabtree was mediocre at best. But, you know, I wouldn't make too big of a deal out of it. Sherman is Sherman. That's the guy he is. And he apologized for it. Obviously, he knows, you know, that was just caught in the moment. And he might have went a little bit overboard. But still, though, Sherman made the play, so you can't hate him on too much, America. Anybody that gets too mad at Sherman, you know, I mean, think of it. Sherman doesn't exactly get caught for DUIs or anything like that. He's not exactly a thug. He's just a trash talker, and that's all it is. He'll just make people like you mad that want to find an excuse to be mad at him. So, on that note, hope you guys leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the video, the game, and the recap of the championship game. Can't wait for the Super Bowl. Doing another video recapping, or just like predicting the Super Bowl and all that, going over all of that. And until then, I will catch you guys next time.